Well, I need a home gig fix. It's a seasonal thing. I need my winter fix and my spring fix, and whatever happens then at summer. I love playing in Bundoran. I've been playing in Bundoran for a long time now, and it's still one of the most magical places to play out of everywhere else.
I'm sure you've no shortage of it. You're looking down in the apart or wherever you're playing in Bundoran, and you're seeing all the familiar faces. And I know with your legions of fans all over the world as well that you'll be seeing familiar faces popping up in front of you. But I'm sure it's pretty special.
It's special all the time. I love looking down at people that I know and that I share something with, and it's looking. It's nice to look down at people too who you don't know, and give them something, share something with them, share maybe a wah with them, or yeah. But Bundoran, as I said, it's special. It's lovely. Bundoran is a great town, always was, and it's a fantastic town to play music in. Still.
Of course, Sean. Obviously, that'd be where the influence came. But what age did you start picking up an instrument?
Well, I was touring at a very young age. I started playing music in my early teens, I suppose, maybe even earlier. I can remember I used to play the drum, not the drums. Sing it.
Just the one drum.
I played the drum.
Right.
I used to play a drum, an old snare drum of my dad back in at the very start of it. Myself, Dad, and Pat Kelly. Then we used to do the Archway Inn, and we used to do the Long Lounge, the Fishing Lodge, the Royal, the Mahary. And then I aspired to the bass guitar, and then things got. Johnny Mulroney came into the band then. And we turned into a 3-piece band with a drum section. And that was all in the very early 80s, playing with my dad, I could have been 12 or 13 or something like that,
And was music the dream then? Did you think this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do this, by God?
Possibly not, because I was a cub. And sure, as a cub, I would have dreamt of possibly motorbikes and things like that, The music was given to me possibly without a choice. And I just took it for granted that was the way it was. Where once upon a time I did believe in time travel and all this, and I wanted to be this and I wanted to be that. But there was no mistakes made, and following whatever way came my way, the musical way, I went with it, and sure, that's it.
And then there comes a lot of travel with your profession, and you're just back from Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo sounds fantastically exotic to me and to a lot of people that will be listening. But do you ever tire of places like Monte Carlo, or what kind of gig do you prefer to do?
Really and truly, all you have to do is plug me in and tell me to go. And I just do it. I have to say, Monte Carlo is an incredible place to play music, especially when you're brought to play in the Grand Opera House. I have to say, I've never been in a place like it in my life. It's absolutely spectacular, and to perform there was totally overwhelming. And we fronted for Buddy Guy, along with my good friend Manuel Landrin from France. It was the 3 acts on the night. But and then Buddy called me up onto the stage with him to play with Buddy Guy, and that was totally. I still haven't come down from that. So, I'll come round. I'll come round halfway through the gig in the apart.
Talk to me then about who you have played with. You've supported the likes of Iron Maiden and AC/DC and all of these guys. Like, is there anybody left that you want to play with, or do you get starstruck when you're asked to perform with these guys?
You don't get starstruck. I was.
I know you're professional at this stage, but
I don't know if it's starstruck, but you would be. Yeah, you'd be in a position where you'd be sometimes in awe. Like when we were dining out in Munich there with Byron Maiden, sitting the guys and Brie Sticks that said, "Hey Johnny, pass me over the mustard," no bother. And we were all myself, Port James and Sean were sitting around sort of, grinning but no, you don't get, it's not stage struck, but I just love getting into it and being stirred around, and having the crack. But then you have to do your show, and you have to be informed to go on the stage, and you have to give that 100%. So you have to be on tune and plugged in all the time, because you're there. You're there obviously for a reason, and that reason is then for us to perform good music. But it's great. I love playing with the big bands, and like as you said, this year was a great year. It was probably one of the best years we ever had, working with the bigger shows and playing in some of the stadiums. But it's yeah.
You're one of the very few lucky people, I suppose, that get to do what you love for a living, and you also get to do it with your two brothers, which must be amazing as well.
Yeah, myself, Park and James. I think we're pretty much inseparable now at this stage. We might as well see it through to the bitter end. We've come this far. And sure, I love it. And, because I do be on my own. Like I spent some of the part of the year this year touring with a sort of a road show, and it was myself and 5 other guitar players from around the world, and we were touring around doing gigs, and I was on my own. And I was pretty much my own man. And I'm not used to that, and I didn't know if I was lonely or I didn't know if I was bored, but I just wasn't myself, And you'd nobody to talk shite with, or you'd nobody to thump or give do a bit of wrestling, So I love being with Park and James and Sean. It's very much part of me, and it sort of completes me, and it completes the whole unit, But as I say, it's great to be away, and sure, it's no harm for a wee bit of a change to work with other people. But the whole Boxtie thing is very much the four of us,
In terms then of deciding for a Saturday night, like your set, do you, like I know you obviously have your staples that you go to all the time, but are you thinking sort of midweek, it's like, God, you know what, we'll root that one out, or we'll root this one out, or do you kind of plan?
The funny thing about the Boxtie set is we have about 6 songs in the Boxtie set that sort of turn the night. These 6 songs that we play, it nearly sounds like as if we don't change our set because of the power of these 6 songs that we have. We could be swapping and changing 6 other songs, but they seem incoherent, but there's a few songs in the Boxtie set that will never be taken out. They'll always be there. They'll always be very much part of what I do, and that's well and good. And that decision's made. But as I said, we always bring in old songs that we would have played 10 years ago and 20 years ago. But we constantly try and bring in new songs, new original songs. Like the last album there we made, we're playing 4 or 5 songs off the last album every night, and which is cool. But Bundoran then on the Alexia Apart Hotel, it's different because we'll be throwing everything from the kitchen sink into the program. And Black Betty will be coming out, and Honky Tonk Woman will be coming out. Some U2 will come out, some Cure will come out. That's just because that's Bundoran, and Boxtie does that in Bundoran. But when we're, for instance, over the last few nights there, we're just after doing 21 nights away, and we only got back yesterday. We have pretty much a routine set, and it has a set that we don't even have to look at each other. It's sort of written in stone from February. We start working the set out in January and February, and then we tour that set for all the bigger concerts and all the bigger shows. And it's a sort of a set between 45 minutes and 120 minutes. Give or take 6 songs that I work in 6s. Right. But yeah. But everything, anything could come out now at the Apartheid Hell gig, you know.
Well, I know everybody is looking forward to it, and I know we always love having a Boxtie gig in Bundoran, and we look forward to many more of them. Johnny, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm delighted to be part of this Bundoran Weekly thing. And, hey, do you want a coffee?